Hi there, and welcome to a Sit With Me podcast. I am your host, Solène, and today on the podcast we're going to talk about a topic that I think a lot of us, the younger generation, the Millennials and the Gen Zers, a lot of us are going through now that we are part of the workforce. We are now the adult. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that one day we would be the adult of this world? And it is the ultimatum of being either unfulfilled or broke. I feel like a lot of us, when it comes to work, it's either having a job that pays well, a quote-unquote good job, a job that pays the bills well, but feeling unfulfilled, or having a job where you are mentally stable, you are mentally fulfilled, and you are happy with what you do, but it does not pay well, so you are broke. Unfulfilled or broke. I wanted to talk about that because, yes, I think that it's something that a lot of us are going through. And I wonder why, for our generation, it is exacerbated rather than our parents' generation, right? When I look at our parents, like the generation above us, it feels like it's not that it wasn't a question, but the bills needed to be paid. Like, our parents were okay with making the deal of fuck my mental health, I'm going to pay the bills and I'm going to raise those children. I think that our generation, we are having that ultimatum because we know that we can be happy. We know we are willing to put our happiness first, which unfortunately I feel like our parents, maybe that was not the main purpose of their life at work, right? And we are having more and more of that conversation because our parents made a good job at creating a life for us when we can put ourselves and our happiness and our mental health first, right? Every generation is trying to make it better for the next generation, and I feel like the generation above us, they made an extremely good job at creating a world where we talk about mental health, where we can prioritize ourselves, we can prioritize our happiness and fulfillment. And now we have the immense privilege, or the chance to even start talking about, do I want a job that makes me happy, knowing that it can make me broke? It's a privilege to even have that conversation, to even have those choices, right? I saw that TikTok, when was it, last week? Which, that's where I had the idea of recording that episode of woman. She said that she's a single mother and she's a graphic designer, illustratrice in French, and she was talking about that. Like, she was making a TikTok about the fact that she's tired, like she's trying this freelancing journey which makes her mentally happy. She's happy, she gets to be an artist, but it does not pay the bills correctly. So mentally she's okay, but the bills are not paid, and she's a single mother. Or she has those periods where she has to take a quote-unquote normal job. If you watch on YouTube, I'm doing a lot of air quotes right now. She has this period where she takes those normal jobs, quote-unquote. They pay a little bit better. She's not rich when she does that, but they pay a little bit better. So financially, she's relieved. But mentally, she feels like she's dying. And it's often that kind of ultimatum that we all face, right? We're at a job that, okay, it pays, but I'm not fulfilled, I'm not happy. And the things that makes me happy, so far, they don't pay the bills correctly. And I think that, like I said, it's because we finally have the privilege to be able to sit down and choose happiness. We know that happiness exist. You can have a conversation with the generation above us, the generation before us. They could not give less of a shite about happiness and mental health, etc., etc., etc. A lot of family could not give less of a shite about mental health. Talk about depression to a family where there's people of color, where there's black people, where there are people from a lower class, etc. They don't care about that, right? We have now the chance, the privilege, and the opportunity to have those conversations and to choose our mental health. The thing is, we as individuals, we can do that, but the society has not caught up yet. We're still very much in a capitalistic system. Amen? Amen. And capitalism could not give less of a shite about your mental health and your creativity. And so that TikTok really triggered that thought, because for me, I want to be happy. I want to be happy. I want a job that fulfills me, but that pays the bill correctly. I'm gonna be honest. I want to live well. I want to live comfortably. Okay, I don't want to have any trouble when it comes to money. I want to live in abundance. Okay, and it's it's a trade-off, right? You can either give 10 hours of your day and have a hefty check but be miserable, or purposefully choose your mental health and your happiness. And it seems like there are not a lot of jobs, there are not a lot of career that can give you both, or that can give you the balance, which I know balance is another word that we can discuss. What is balance? Does balance even exist, right? And I also think that the reason why our generation, we can finally have those conversations, and we can finally have the privilege of even thinking about something like that, it's because we see so many options. We have so many options. We see so many ways of life in a way that our parents and grandparents didn't, right? My grandmother, my parents and my grandparents, there was no internet. I mean, they had internet very late in their lives, right? My grandmother just don't even... traveling was a privilege. You had to take a boat. You had to take a train. It takes hours and hours. It was expensive. It was a privilege. But now we have access to so many experiences, to so many other people's lives, telling you about their experience, their choices, and that enriches our own brain, our own thoughts. And now we're like, okay, if these people are happy, maybe I can be happy. Or if these people are miserable, I don't want to be miserable. And we have so many options that I think it can be overwhelming. If I'm in a restaurant with a big ass menu, I know it's going to be a nightmare. Too many options kills the options. We have so much more options, so much more possibilities than our parents, which it's not necessarily a good thing. Sometimes it's great to have fewer options. And our parents, the options that they have, the possibility that they had was what was around them. Okay? It was in the neighborhood, in the city, maybe in the country. And there are some pros, because now we are faced with so many options, so many ways of life. You can be an employee, you can be a freelance, you can be a CEO. There's so many options, and I think that there's good and bad in that, the fact that we have so many freaking options, right? And so the question when it comes to work and finding a career, it's either you're making a large amount of money, or you are doing your dream job, quote unquote, but it does not pay well. I feel like that's kind of the question for us. That's how you can kind of rephrase the question. Making a large amount of money versus having a dream job that does not pay that well. When it comes to that, though, the more I think about it, first of all, I think that we need to kind of get rid of the concept of dream job. What is a dream job? I feel like the concept in itself, either we're getting rid of it or we're completely rethinking it. Because when I hear dream job, I think that when we think about dream job, we think about a job that will give us everything, that will really check every single one of our boxes. I don't know if that exists. I don't know if that should exist. In relationship, we say that you cannot get everything from one person. Your partner cannot be your therapist, your best friend, your mom, your dad, your employee, your colleague. You need a village. You need a variety of people around you. You need friendship, family relationship, romance relationship. You need some kind of job environment. You need a little bit of everything to have an equilibrium, an équilibre, an equilibrium, is that how you, a balance of everything, right? You cannot get everything from one person. I believe that you cannot get everything from one job. I feel like when we talk about dream job, we think that there is one thing that you will do every single day for approximately 8 hours a day that will fulfill every desire that you have, that will give you the money, that will give you the happiness, that will give you the fulfillment, that will give you the joy, that will give you the gratitude. That does not exist. I don't believe that it exists now in today's world, in today's economy, in today's capitalistic system. So when I hear the dream job versus large amount of money, I'm focusing on the dream job part, and I'm like, can we talk about that? What does that mean? And if it's if it's something that you're looking for, what does dream job means for you? What does that look like? Because we love to talk in abstract term of, oh, dream job, dream job. What is, every single person has a different dream job, quote unquote dream job. And a dream job is not necessarily something that you do every single day for 8 hours a day. It can be going to the office for 8 hours. You get up, you go to the office, you do what you have to do, you go home, you have a little hobby on the side, or you go home, you eat something good, you watch Netflix, and you go to bed. That can be your dream job. But just know that, like I said, we have a lot of options, and you can create that dream job. That dream job is different for everyone. For some people, it's just going to be being able to work 3 to 5 hours a day, 3 times a week, and then do whatever you want on the side. But try to be as precise and clear as you can. Kind of forego the idea of dream job, dream job. What does that mean? What does that mean to your dream job? Is that a career that already exists, right? Is it something that you need to create? Is it something that does not even exist? Also, do not fantasize it. Do not, because, when we talk about dream job, there's a lot of fantasy. There's this dreamy and perfect aspect attached to like a dream job. Stop fantasizing work. Work is cute. Don't get me wrong. I love to work. I am a workaholic. The call is coming from inside the house, but don't fantasize work in a way that it will bring you everything. You need a little bit of everything in your life to be fulfilled, to be happy. Like I said, you need a good friend circle. You need a good work environment. You need a good what I call a village, which is family, blood family or chosen family. You need a great life environment, a great city to live in, a great house. You know what I mean? Like, you need a village. That's what I call the village. All of that around you to be happy and to be fulfilled, etc., etc. You will not get everything from a job. Stop fantasizing and dreaming that a job will give you everything. I personally doesn't believe it will. That's just me though. And again, when we talk about making a large amount of money versus having a dream job, we need to define those terms. What does a large amount of money means to you? And don't get me no answers that you saw on TikTok or on Instagram, or that you heard the CEO of whatever talked about, that you've seen on Pinterest in one of those beautiful, aesthetically pleasing, quotes thing. Don't give me that amount of money. Truly sit down with yourself in silence, disconnect from social media, sit down and think about, what does a large amount of money, quote unquote, again, if you're looking on YouTube, I'm doing a lot of quotation marks. What does that mean for you? Not everyone should be basically a billionaire. Not everyone wants to be a billionaire. Not everyone wants to be a millionaire. Not everyone has to be a multimillionaire to be happy. You don't need that amount. We don't all need that amount of money. Okay, it's cute. The wealth can be cute and enticing, but I assure you that happiness, you can reach an astronomical level of happiness without being a multimillionaire. I know it hurts to hear. But I assure you it's true. You need to figure out, when it comes to your finance and when it comes to your dream life, the vision that you have for yourself in the future, what does large amount of money means? Is it 2,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 a month? Again, we need to get rid of the abstract and the fantasy of, oh, I want lots of money and a dream job. What does define those terms? What does a large amount of money means for you? What are your bills, that you have to pay every month? And how much every month do you need on your bank account that you feel like, okay, I don't need to change my bank account. I know the money is there. I know that the bills is there. And what kind of life do you want? Do you want a life full of hobbies? Do you want to have yoga class and dance class and painting class and buy lots of perfumes and have a lot of clothes and etc. etc.? Is it the kind of life that you want? Or do you just want a little money to travel once a year and pay the subscription to Netflix and HBO and be able to watch shows whenever you want and just be able to afford food, to buy all the food that you want? Like, we all have a different dream lifestyle in mind. Define those terms for you. Same for the dream job. What does dream job means for you? And again, to ask yourself those kind of questions, I'm going to need you to put the phone down, because you cannot even imagine how under the influence your brain is with all the scrolling. We were not supposed to hear that many people, to talk to that many people in a lifetime, to hear that many people experience and advice and thoughts and whatever. Put the phone down for a few hours, for a few days. Reconnect with yourself, reconnect with your inner self, reconnect with your younger self, all right, with your past experiences, and ask yourself, what does a dream job, quote unquote, what does a dream life looks like for me, in my opinions? And again, it does not need to be something that is popular. It does not need to exist already. Your dream life, your version of dream job, maybe it's already out there. Maybe it's being a lawyer. Maybe it's being a fashion designer. Maybe it is being a light technician on a film set. Maybe it is about being a director. I don't know. Maybe it exists. Maybe it does not. But you need to sit down, disconnect from the world for a while, and reconnect with yourself. Put the phone down, put the laptop down, and reconnect with your inner deep desire for a while. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, don't look at your phone, and try to reconnect with your inner self, with your younger self. What did you want to do? What were you attracted to? Do you have a hobby that you always wanted to try, right? Side note, I don't think that we need to monetize every single part of ourselves. You don't need to turn your hobby into a job. I think I need to stress that. You don't need to, your hobby does not need to be a job, because then it becomes a job. It stops being a hobby. It's not because you love photography that you need to become a photographer. Maybe you just need to take a few photography class, buy a few cameras, and have fun on the weekends or after work, taking pictures in your city or in your house. Not every hobby, not every passion of yours needs to become a job, so they can stay a passion, so you can still have tremendous amount of happiness while doing them. You don't need to monetize every single part of yourself. That can also be part of your dream life, where you find something that you're good at. Maybe you have exceptional organization skills. Maybe you are really good with communication. Maybe you're really good at drawing, and you can trade those skills. You're good at organization. You look for a job that requires being really good at organization. You trade a few hours of your day, and then you can keep the money that you get from that to have the hobby. And like that, you can buy cameras and buy gears and go outside and take pictures. You don't need to monetize every single part of yourself. That can be your dream life. You have that little job, but that is simply a way to allow you to live your passion. Or maybe you really want to make money out of your passion. That's also a way. If you feel that you are good at photography and you want to be a photography, go full force. But do not feel forced, though, to make money out of every single freaking hobby that you have, please. That will kill your spirit. Because a hobby, you love a hobby because you don't have to be good at it. You love that hobby because there's no pressure, because you do not rely on that hobby to pay the bills. Once that hobby becomes your job, it's a whole different conversation, because now you have to do it. If the hobby is to draw clothes or whatever, if the hobby is to take photos, you don't have to do it every day. It's a hobby. Even if you take classes, you don't have to go to the classes. As soon as the hobby becomes your job, just know that you have to do it. Take off the pressure of having to monetize every single part of yourself. You don't have to. You can, but you don't have to. So yeah, define those terms. And again, capitalism only gives us a few options, right? Within capitalism, you can either be an employee or you can be a freelancer. Like, capitalism will not give you on a golden platter the blueprint for your dream life. Don't wait for capitalism to tell you this is what you need to do to be happy, fulfilled, and to live the life of your dream. Capitalism will not do that, baby girl. You will probably have to create that blueprint for yourself. Don't wait on capitalism to tell you what to do. No. Please. You need to define those terms and go after that life that you want. Pick and choose from what is available to you. Again, maybe it's an office job, so you can get the checks and then do something else, travel the world, make music, learn an instrument. Maybe it's freelancing, where you make money out of traveling the world, out of making music, right? But it's really important to define, what does that mean for you? We need to get rid of this abstract notion of dream job and loads of money. What does loads of money means for you? What does dream job means for you? And again, I am all for getting rid of this fantasy of dream job. And like I said, you might need to create all of it from scratch, which is, I think, what a lot of millennials and Gen Zs are trying to do, or have the desire to do, which is create a life from scratch. But we have to acknowledge that will take time. That will take time and energy, because like I said, capitalism will definitely not give you that on the silver platter. You might have to create a whole dream life from scratch, right? If you know that for example, you know that you do not want to work in an office for 8 hours a day and have that routine of getting up, going to work, coming back home, eating something good, maybe have a dance class, whatever, and then go to bed. For some people, that is the dream. And we need to acknowledge that. We need to accept that. For some people, what I just described is the dream. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, routine every single day. You can do that. If you do not want to do that, you need to focus on what does a dream day in that dream life, in that vision of yours, what does that look like? Again, sit down with yourself, disconnect from social media, and envision, what does the perfect day look like? You get up and then you do what? Maybe you get up, you have time to, go in your garden. That means you have a garden. Go to a yoga class, work out a little bit, spend time with your dogs, spend time with your partner, maybe. What does a dream day look like? And then you go to the office, you work for a few hours, then you come home, spend time with your animals, then you have a drawing class, and then you have a yoga class, and then you have a dance class. And then for some people, what I'm describing is the nightmare. Maybe for you, it's the dream. What I'm trying to say is, sit down and think about what that vision looks like for you. You might need to create it from scratch, and then have the courage and the audacity to go after that dream life. If your dream life consists of getting up whenever you want and then have a yoga class, how can you make that happen within your life? If that's what you want, go after it full force. But you need to ask yourself, how can I create that? How can I make that happen? What skills can I use that can be necessary to the job market, quote unquote, where I can trade 3 to 5 hours of my day in return for enough money to pay the yoga instructor, to pay the painter that is teaching me how to paint, to pay my subscription to my book club. I don't know, we need to be as precise as you can, because I believe that it is possible to create your dream life from scratch. Here's the thing though, it will take a lot of time. It will take time, energy, and money. But in order to create it, you need to know what it is. So sit down with yourself, and when it comes to the question, making large amount of money with a job that does not make you happy, that makes you miserable, versus not necessarily making loads of money but feeling fulfilled, you need to define all those terms. What is a large amount of money means to you? What does a large amount of money means to you? Seriously, like in euros. I need a number. What does a dream job, even though we need to get rid of the concept, what does that mean to you? Do you feel like you need to create it from scratch? What kind of skills can you use from your own experience, from your own life, that you can trade with the job market and get what you want? Do you just want to go to the office, come back and have free time? Do you never want to go to the office? Ask yourself, what does that look like? Be as precise as possible, and then have the audacity and the courage to go after it. It is the hardest part. And if you ask, I don't know where to start, you know where to start. You know where to start. If you sit down with yourself and really go through that vision of yours that you have, you know where to start. You have all the answers are within yourself. You just need the courage to face them and to act on that impulse that you have. So yeah, a lot of us are going through that ultimatum. I'm right in it. I'm saying this like the call is coming from inside the house. I am right in it. I do want to have a happy life. I do want to live fulfilled, and I don't want to have any money problem. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't need the billions. No, thank you. But I do want a happy life fulfilled, where the bills are on auto pay, where I have a bunch of hobbies, and that is what I'm trying to create for myself. But in the face of the job market, we also need to accept the fact that we may need to trade some skills that we have in order to get the checks to finance that dream life that we have. And it's okay. Something though that is very different from our parents is the fact that I don't think that any of us will spend 10, 20 years doing the same job. And that is something to take in account, the fact that your life will fluctuate, your life will change. Maybe you won't spend the next 20 years of your life doing the same thing, and it's okay. Plan for the now, plan for the near future, plan for what your dream life looks like in the near future, but also know that at any point in time you can reinvent yourself, at any point in time you can change. That dream will change and can change. Don't feel again obligated to stick with that dream because you had it for so long. You can let go of a dream at any point in time. Maybe now you have that vision, you have that dream, right? You will reach that dream. I believe in you. You will reach that dream, baby girl. And then you reach it and you're like, okay, I want something else. Maybe you want to hustle. You want to build your business and make tens of thousands every month, and you want to hustle and you want to sell your clothes, or you want to create a product that you will sell. And then you will have the business. Then you'll have the 10,000 a month, and you're going to be like, okay, now I want to live in a forest. That's the beauty of life. Life fluctuates, and you create it every second of every day. Now you want the business, you'll get the business, and then you will want to live in a forest. Or now you want to live in a forest, you will live in a forest, and then you're going to be like, okay, now I want to create a business. Nothing is set in stone. You can make the large amount of money now and have the dream life and the dream job, quote unquote, later. You can have the dream life and the dream job, quote unquote, now and make the large amount of money later. But the most important, baby girl, is to sit down with yourself and define all those terms. What does that look like for you? Disconnect from social media. Put down the phone, put out the computer. What all the terms that I talked about in this podcast, what does that mean for you? What does that look like for you? Disconnected from what you've seen. Don't listen to other people. Don't copy what other people are doing. You can be inspired by it, but don't, your inner voice, your inner child. Define what those terms means for you, and then have the courage and the audacity to go after it. And just know that if you are creating it from scratch, if the options that you want are not necessarily popular or available in this capitalistic system, you might need to create it from scratch, and it will take time. It will take it will take a moment to trade. You might need a period in your life where you are trading a few of your skills to get the check so you can finance in the long term that dream job. But have the courage and the audacity to go after that dream life. It may take time. It's not easy because we are creating something new. We are creating a new way of life. Look at us. We are now talking about a 4 days week. We're talking about work-life balance. We're talking about working from home. We are creating something new. A new wave. Okay? Be patient with yourself. Love yourself. Listen to yourself. I keep repeating myself. Have the courage and the audacity to go full force in the direction of your dreams. All right? That's it for me. I've talked long enough. I love you dearly. You can listen to this podcast anywhere you are listening to podcasts. You can look at me on YouTube. I'm thinking about all the marketing stuff that I have to say. 5-star reviews everywhere you can put a review. Write me about your experience. If you have thoughts, if you just want to rant, if you have ideas, sit with me podcast@gmail.com, and I will be delighted to read you, to hear from you. And I talk to you next week. All right? See you next week. Bisous, bye.